Hello, guys. Welcome back. Once again, I am the Philadelphia Hoovian, and now you're hearing the review of my top 10 favorite supernatural episodes from season 2. All right, now season 2, this is another great season from that beautifully frightening show that is Supernatural. And if you're tuning into this video, you know you love this show too because you're smart. Mhm. And as I said, when it comes to the TV show Supernatural, it's a very strange show for me because I am not a horror fan. I do not like horror movies. They're not my thing. But for some reason, Supernatural, the first time I saw an episode, I got into it and I never looked back. Now, with season 2, it's strange. Season 2 is a season I do not revisit that much. I don't. I don't go back and watch it that much. Then I finally do go back and watch episodes from it, and I'm like, wait, this was a really good season. Why don't I watch this one that much? I don't know. But what can you do? Mhm. Sometimes we humans, we just don't make sense. We don't. All you can do is accept us for what we are. So, before I begin my top 10 list, I'm going to give a great amount of honorable mentions because there are some honorable mentions from this season that really deserve some recognition. First honorable mention, All Hell Breaks Loose Part 1 and All Hell Breaks Loose Part 2, the finale. Oh my god, that was so heartbreaking. When all yellow eyes, he got all the chosen ones together and they began to kill each other off. And then the one girl who you saw from the previous episodes, I think episode was Hunted, and she was such a great person. And then you see her now, and she has become such a cold-blooded murderer. And it's survival of the fittest, I guess. Also, that and you're there in that situation for a long enough time. You're gonna go crazy, but still, it sucks that this nice girl who at first started out being all about helping Sam and protecting him and using her gift to help now is a villain. She's a villain. And then the one soldier kills Sam, and then Dean has to, make a deal with a crossroads demon to bring Sam back. I mean, all the love. And then, the demons get out anyway. But then you've got Yellow Eyes, and he's like, there. And who gets out of hell? Oh, that's right, their dad, John Winchester. He was able to get his way out of hell to protect his boys. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And this episode, two-parter, it's the first time we find out that their mom, Mary Winchester, she knew Yellow Eyes. So that just furthers the problem. It's like, wait a minute, Mary Winchester knew the demon. And that comes into play into later episodes. So yeah, there's that. Oh yes, there's that. Also, another honorable mention goes to the one I just mentioned, Hunted. Yes, the one where that crazy hunter is now hunting after Sam Winchester. And again, that the girl from All Hell Breaks Loose Part 1, she came to warn Sam about this problem. And then Sam, because upright citizen he is, finds a way to turn Gordon in. But it's just, I think it's a very, 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 very overlooked episode from season 2 of Supernatural. Another honorable mention. I think this is the very second episode of the season. Everybody loves a clown. Oh my, okay, guys, I'm one of those people who I am frightened of clowns. Clowns terrify me. I think the term is called bozophobia. I could be wrong. There might be a better term for it. But first, someone when I was a kid called it bozophobia, and I think that's a really good term for it. Bozophobia, because quite honestly, clowns scare me, and this clown was used to perfection. And the carnival environment was also very good for setting up this backdrop. And when you find out who the guy is by the very end, who the villain really is, when he disappears before he goes invisible, his face distorts, and it is creepy. Oh, so awesomely frightening. Then, oh, the genie. Next honorable mention, What Is and What Should Never Be. A good play on a Led Zeppelin song. But it's when the genie, it captures Dean, and then it shows him all the things he wants to see, the life he always wanted. But it's not real. Genies don't really actually fulfill your wishes. They just make you think they have, when in reality, they're just sucking you dry. Yeah, because nothing in life is ever good. Next honorable mention, Roadkill. Oh, that scene at the very end where it turns out that they not only we thought the woman was being haunted by a ghost, the man she hit, but truth be told, they were both ghosts, and one was just tormenting the other, and she had no idea she was a ghost that entire time. That was really surprising. I mean, that was a very good way of giving an alternate story on a ghost. A very good way of telling the same thing but differently, showing you it's not what writers write about, it's how they write it and why they write it. That's what makes a story different. You can tell as many ghost stories as you want, but you got to find a different way to tell it. Oh, the last honorable mention, children shouldn't play with dead things. Well, that girl who got brought back from the dead and then she goes on a killing spree. Again, we've seen zombies before because that's what she practically is, a zombie. But it's also about how you tell the story. And that is what I have to give credit on. Now I finally hit my top 10 list after all that time. Now we're hitting the top 10. Guys, I'm telling you right now, this top 10 list is in no particular order. I just gave you the top 10 when I thought about them. But really, they're all kind of equal. These episodes are all equal. I'm just putting them in a random list. Choose what you will, which one deserves to be number one, even if it's number 10. So number 10, No Exit. Ooh, I think it's Holmes, the serial killer who made that like literally death trap of a house, and then now it's in the apartment building because it was built right next to the place where he got hung. Oh, and then Joe is there. I love Joe, and I love her mom. I love those two. But, Joe, oh gosh. Sorry. When, the ghost of Holmes, he's just, killing all these women, and it's like, darn, that just sucks. But you know what? Joe, Ellen, and Sam and Dean, they're all awesome, and I love them. It's a great story. No Exit. And again, a very good play. I believe on the play is that title was based on the play, I think, written by Sartre, who wrote the play called No Exit, where, it's a play about people who are in hell. So I think, again, a good play on a title. Number 9, Simon Said. Yes, this is where we get another person who in some way has powers, but this one he can control people's minds. But it turns out he's not doing it to be malicious. He's just a fun-loving guy. It turns out it's his evil twin who he was separated from at birth, who is killing all these people who had to do with the separation between the two brothers. Yeah, poor guy had an evil twin. That's frightening. And the guy even went so far as to about to kill his girlfriend. I mean, the kind of girlfriend of his brother. That's just some sad stuff, man. Really is. By the way, that guy's van was pretty sweet. Yeah, it was sweet. I know it was. Again, great episode. Number 8, The Usual Suspects. My name is Dean Winchester. I like long walks on the beach. Whatever. I'm paraphrasing. I like long walks on the beach and frisky women. And I did not kill her. I love that. And that's a clip from Supernatural that is often played in Super Hulock fan videos. One of the good ones is called Crash Landing from Super Hulock. Look it up. It's a good one. Either way, where Sam and Dean are in prison and then they escape to find out who was the real bad guy. And it wasn't even like there was a ghost involved, but she actually was not the one who was causing these murders. She was the one who was warning people about who the killer was, or like, where her body was, what was about to happen. She was like a premonition sort of ghost. And I like that. I like, again, a good play on the idea of a ghost. The ghost is not there to kill. The ghost is there to warn. She's there to warn people. Again, I like when they do a different thing with a ghost. Number 7, Night Shifter. The shapeshifters are back. And they're a good title, Night Shifter. Like, it plays on night shift, but it's also a shifter. Good one. And then there's Ronald. Oh, I think his name is Ronald. Ronald, the guy who worked at the bank, who believed it was a mandroid, and Oh, he was a great character because he was just all about trying to solve this problem. And he's like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. There really was something going on here. And he was right. Poor Ronald was right. And he got killed. And it turned out the whole time he was not a villain. He was right. Then you got the FBI coming in, that one guy who becomes a reoccurring character, and I like that he became a reoccurring character, who's chasing after Dean, and he finds like, you faked your own death. I don't know how you did that, but that was very clever. He's been following Sam and Dean up and down and tracking them. And they got that problem on their hands. It's all these problems. And then, they finally do find the shapeshifter, and yes, they do kill him, but it was after they almost killed the wrong woman who the shifter was pretending to be. And it just, it was a cute, somehow they find a way to put comedy into these tragic scenes at the same time. And I do enjoy that. I do. Okay, so now number 6, Tall Tales, the trickster, who we know in later seasons is not a trickster. But this is where I feel like this is the episode where Bobby Singer was beginning to show that he was going to become a reoccurring character. Yes, we meet him. I think we meet him in Born Under a Bad Sign. I could be wrong if that's the first time we do meet him. I could be wrong. But, Tall Tales is like, oh, let's bring back the character Bobby Singer. And they brought him back. And he's one of those really interesting, the guy who plays him, plays Bobby Singer. I don't know why the actor's name is escaping me right now. But it's a prime example of, I think, an actor, something about the way they play the character that made them probably, the casting directors think, we should really bring that character back more. Um, and so as a result, Bobby Singer appears. He appears in this episode, and then you got the trickster there, and the trickster, he's just messing with people and giving all these urban legends that really work. And I actually really like this story as a whole. I like it a lot, and I think it's really great. So then you've got 5, Croatoan. Oh my gosh, Croatoan. Just the idea of people like, transferring this disease, like it's like a demonic disease, just like, through bleeding on each other, just through bleeding on each other. And that's remarkable. And it doesn't affect Dean. I mean, sorry, it doesn't affect Sam. Sam is immune. And just when you thought that one guy who's like a military, the hunter guy, just when you thought he's gonna get out of there safely, nope, he gets killed by the guy who was possessed by a demon the entire time. It sucks. And then his mom had to be killed. All these people had to be killed because they're being taken over by this disease. But man, I personally like Croatoan. I do, and the dilemma that Dean has to go through, not dilemma, where he has to defend his brother. He is not going to let anyone kill Sam. That just shows the devotion that Dean has to Sam. It's beautiful. And the sacrifice Sam is willing to take at all costs. So, number 4. This is an episode, again, this episode does scare me, but luckily the brothers just have enough comedy in there to make me able to digest it. Again, scary children, playthings, dolls. As you see, I have a collection of Beanie Babies up there. Well, I collected them when I was a kid. And as a result, I'm not getting rid of them. But Beanie Babies are innocent. But dolls, lots and lots of dolls, their eyes looking at you, terrifying. And so playthings, you have, it turns out, the sister of the woman who was using, I think, hoodoo to keep her sister's soul, or sister's, like, spirit, out of the hotel. But it turns out she had a stroke. And so people thought Sam and Dean thought she was the one who was actually committed using hoodoo to bring the ghost. But it turns out, no, she had a stroke. And the second the spirit began to kill people and hurt people, the ones who were trying to take over the hotel and get rid of it, yeah, that was the one that the woman was using hoodoo to keep out, in her own sister. And I loved how she learned hoodoo from her nanny, who looked after her more than her own mother. So this was this woman, this nanny, she was the one who protected this little girl and probably trusted her, or not trusted her, to believed that she was probably being possessed by spirits, and used her hoodoo to help this little girl who she was the nanny of protect this little girl from the evil spirit of her sister. She probably was the only one who probably believed that little girl. And it's a beautiful story in that regard. And then you have, the grandmother, then you have her daughter, and then the granddaughter is now seeing the spirit, and you think that Maggie is just her, her real sister, and then you find out that Maggie is an imaginary friend. Maggie's the ghost. So scary. And but again, Sam and Dean, they have some comedic moments in there. So much where Sam is like, Dean, you're not gonna poke her with a stick because she's like he thinks maybe she's faking having a stroke. And when Sam gets drunk and he's like, yeah, you're bossy. He says that's Dean, you're bossy. In short, they just make sure there's enough comedy, going into the situation. Help me able to take the horror. Now, number three. Yeah, great story. Hollywood Babylon. I mean, do I have to really explain why Hollywood Babylon is a bad story? Some guy using real actual summoning to get ghosts to kill off all the people who messed with his script in Hollywood. I understand why he probably wanted to kill them all because people in Hollywood can be dicks. I mean, that industry, I know people are jealous of big stars. Let me tell you something about that industry. Be happy you got your 9 to 5 job. That industry is disgustingly scary. It really is. It is horrifying. Look up how Judy Garland really got treated. Now, it's not as bad as it used to be with her. I mean, that was just horrifying. And she was a star. That was horrifying. It's not always as bad as that nowadays, but people still are very abusive in that industry. So Hollywood Babylon, that really shows. I could tell the writers were putting all of their animosity and all their anger for like the executives, the studio execs, and the producers, and all that whatnot into that story, and it led to some very good comedy. I'm not going to go into the plot. It's just awesome. Hollywood Babylon is a 10 out of 10 for me. Dean's impression of Bruce Willis from Die Hard. Get a couple of goes, have a couple of laughs. Sorry, that's my terrible Dean impression of Bruce Willis. Now, number 2, Folsom Prison Blues. Oh gosh darn. I like that story. Again, it's a ghost of a woman in a prison. It's a nurse who's killing all these prisoners. And she was a really disgusting person in real life. She might as well have killed these. She pretty much did kill prisoners. And Sam and Dean have to go into the prison to kill her. And it's pretty awesome. I like Folsom Prison Blues. All right, and now, number 1, it's a tie between In My Time of Dying and Crossroad Blues. Oh, I love both those stories. And the Crossroad Blues with oh gosh, making sure I'm not getting that title right. I don't want to give you guys the wrong title. I'll feel very stupid if I do. Yep, Crossroad Blues. We're good. Where people make deals with a crossroad demon to get what they want, and you see the first time, in the South, where the crossroad, a man makes a deal to become a really they're the best, I think it's like blues player. Either way, it starts all the way back then, but then you got this one guy who made a deal to be to be the greatest artist, and then yeah, he's got all these great paintings, but he's not famous. He became nothing. And he feels so bad he'd rather be dragged into hell because he turns out that he, not only was it not worth it, but because he summoned the crossroad demon, the demon made all these deals. And so he ruined all these people's lives by summoning the crossroads demon. And yeah, that's just amazing. And again, all the deals, people are dying from the hellhounds dragging them. Something. And in my time of dying, again, we've got a Reaper on our hands, and the scene where Sam just drops the coffee because his dad is dead. His dad made a deal with a crossroads demon. Well, not crossroads demon. He made a deal with Yellow Eyes. Yep, save my son, and take me instead. And even, yeah, the Colt. Yeah, he made a deal. Those Winchesters, they'll fight, their entire lives to kill everything, but they will make a deal for each other. It's a very good way to start, another season. A very good way to start another season. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of my top 10 and quite a few honorable mentions of season 2 of this brilliant show, Supernatural. So guys, I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and if you liked what you saw, please don't be afraid to subscribe. And once again, I am the Philadelphia Whovian, and it was nice chatting with you all. Enjoy yourselves, guys.